You know what it is, VIP Saturday, Superstar J.
And it's your homie, Great Rizzy, baby.
Yes, man. We got family in the building, man.
Absolutely, man. By way of Far Rockaway, man. Shout out and salute to the homie Big. Shout out and salute to the beautiful Miss Janelli in the building.
Yes.
This is Chinx's family right here, man. Give a hand clap for that. We are up here, Shade 45.
Out here with the yak.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. Now, what's up? We got this album, man, scorching hot right now.
Yeah.
Yes. And Janelli, it's like, are you thinking about rapping right now?
Absolutely not.
This is like you're radio ready. I've been seeing a lot of interviews, and you stepped up the game, man.
You just, at the first one I was a little shaky. Many people can tell, but once we got to the second one, it was over. I was, at the end of the day, it's pretty repetitive, so you kind of just go with it. And
yeah.
I talk too much anyway, so. It works itself out.
It's in your DNA. It's all good.
Okay, well, I want to first congratulate you, Biggs and Janelli, about this album. It's incredible.
Appreciate it.
You know what I'm saying? And Chinx has been a friend of mine ever since he came home, and he's always had that. Like, if you go way back, and I told him, and it's actually like Mano and all these like different stages of my life of radio. When I was on the couch, you remember when I was doing my own radio?
Shout out to the show, man.
Chinx came over and did an interview with him, and so did French too. Well, when we was just putting up together things together, and he had the Jada Chris record, and he was always very blingy. You know what I'm saying? Very, very, fly, and always was humble about everything. Now we got this album, Welcome to JFK. Can we talk about this album? How did it become together, the title and everything?
Hey, Biggs, let's start with, let's give Janelli a quick intro, because I know that she has a lot to share. But Biggs, let's talk about the production of this album and how it came to fruition, because I know it was a long time coming.
Yeah, it's been a while. Everybody that knows Chinx knows that he has an affinity with with airplanes. So us coming from Far Rockaway, I think I tell people all the time, I think it's like before we got the opportunity to be able to travel and do different things, you see JFK right there, so you would see all of these planes flying overhead, landing and taking off. So as a kid, I think that was his getaway, that was his escape out of the ghetto before he could actually get out of the ghetto. So, after the Hurry Up and Die volume, the mixtape series that he did with Biscuit and everything, when he came home,
Shout out to Biscuit, yeah.
Yeah, he started talking about, when I do my album, it's going to be Welcome to JFK, and he stayed true to that. So when we obviously we did the Cocaine Riot mixtape series, and that went up to 5, and he said, listen, it's going to be Welcome to JFK, which made my life easy, because, one of the hardest things to do is to figure out what the type of an album is going to be.
Right.
And we've been recording for the past 3.5, 4 years, so if anybody that knows Chinx knows he's a workaholic. So when it came to them actually locking in with our producers, shout out to Blicky Blaze, shout out to Young Stokes, they would go in for days at a time. So, he would literally get in the studio and just experiment. And what sounded good, that's actually how we got the first track, called Experimental.
Oh, wow.
That was a song that they didn't think was finished, and he played it for me, and I was like, bro,
can we get into that record?
Yeah, let's do it.
Well, I need Janelli to introduce this record, because she all on her phone.
Yeah.
She's like, I got things to do.
Janelli's in the business mode right now, multitasking.
They want to know, and everybody wants to see anything that has to deal with anything when it comes to Chinx. So every time I'm doing something, I'm just keeping the fans updated at all times, and they love it, they appreciate it, and that is my job.
She is the official PR rep.
I walk in here and it's immediately like 2 minutes.
You don't play no games too.
PR
so
rep.
let's do that Far Rock swag real quick, Janelli, and introduce this record.
Yeah.
Here's Experimental, first track on the album, Welcome to JFK. He stepped all the way out his element with this one.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get it.
VIP Saturdays, man. It's the homie Great Rizzy,
Superstar J,
and of course we still got family in the building, man. Chinx's wife Janelli's in the building, and the big bro Biggs is up in here, man. We just got out that joint Experimental. Now you said this is like your favorite joint. This was your favorite record?
Yeah, I think he just stepped all the way out the box.
He showed a lot of, I think, versatility on this one, man.
Yeah.
Because people
from the songs that give you a lesson, like, you know, how to be rich, to the songs for the women, like On Your Body and Thug Love, to
my record right there, Thug Love.
Oh,
Everybody loving that record.
yes,
That's the
I love
sleeper.
that.
No, it's not a sleeper,
Not a sleeper.
Biggs.
Well,
it's not a sleeper. Well, believe me, it works. It works, Biggs. It works.
That is my song. I love that. I knew that song was going on the album before all the other songs was done. And when he let me hear that, I was like, Jesus, I was like, this is it. Like, we played that song all day in the house. My daughters fell in love with it. They wasn't trying. They ain't care about no other song on the album. They was like, they better put that song on the album.
Right there, huh?
Wow.
I went right there. Thug Love.
Now,
Everybody loves that song.
Now, so many records, right, Biggs, that I know Chinx is like a workaholic. Right. Now, how did you just break it down to like this, you know what I mean, like to 13 to 14? Like, how, I know it was a lot of people in the room like, nah, man, that one, man.
Yeah, it was crazy easy because fortunately for us, the album was done.
Yeah.
And the way that we've been executive producing the project, Chinx and I did it together. We would play records for people, and we had the ones that we knew were gonna stick. Okay. So we would go in, we would do a batch of 5, 6, figure out which one were the best ones, and stick with those. And after we got about 3 or 4 records in, we already had like the direction and the body of work in terms of what he was going to do for this album. You know, we wanted him to take some chances. You know, he definitely felt like he could step out of the box and doing so much of the trap and the street shit and really start to holler at his core audience, which was the ladies. You know, so you hear him doing a lot of melodic things, a lot of singing, a lot of harmonies. But it's still street records. It's still things that we feel comfortable rocking to, you know, and the proof is in the pudding. You know, everybody's listening to it, and it's definitely one of those projects that you can press play and ride it all the way through. So I think it's a testament to us just being in tune to who he is, and what was missing in the industry. You know what I'm saying? This is the first time I feel like New York has a sound again.
Okay.
You know, and I don't say it any pun to any of the artists that's already out there, but we basically stamped something and solidified a sound.
I don't think
for the city.
The thing is, I don't think that, and for people who are sitting here and they're listening, shout out to everybody that's tuning in Shade 45 VIP Saturdays. I don't think that is off at all. It's not a biased statement, because I think a lot of people lose the sense where the reason why New York had a sound, because each artist had their own thing. It was them. Right. You know, and this was 100% Chinx. Like, I've had a chance to listen to a whole bunch of records with Superstar J, and you know, he's been putting me on to stuff with that's his job. But from beginning to end, all you saw was him accelerating, him ascending, him getting better. But it still is his sound.
And you can't say like he sounds like anybody on this. One of the biggest conflicts that we had coming up, obviously because he had the Coke Boy movement and things like that, is when you're doing the Coke Boy wave and you're in a group, sometimes it's hard for people to distinguish one artist from the other.
True.
You know, so when you come with your own project and your solo project, the most important thing you want to do is something that encompasses your sound and that people can point now and say, oh, that's Chinx.
And also, I've seen Chinx so many times, and like I seen him on the Avenue. Chinx is always humble. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man, I ain't a star, man. You know what I mean? So when I seen him on the Avenue, and I felt that, and I told him this. I said, a lot of people are taking your style of rapping. Now I'm gonna tell you how I felt. That was like we know when that came, when Chinx started doing that. A lot of so-called rappers started doing that swag and style. Yeah. And, you know, shout out to French. And I felt when they became together, they really messed out both styles. Right. I felt like when Chinx came with French, he understood now how to make a real like a hook, a record, and then add his swag to it. Right. Because Quiet as Kept, we know that Pop That was Chinx's record. Right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like I know a lot of other things, you know. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but see, he was so humble like that. He never had a problem, you know, playing the background while he was learning. He didn't, you know, it wasn't no problem for him to see his man shine. Yeah, you know, and that was a beautiful thing. I've seen him give French records, and I'm like, you just gave him what? You know, tracks that was supposed to be on the album. But that's the type of team player that he's always been. You know, so it's good for him because again, he when he was a student, and now he's like, okay, I'm gonna push this button and show y'all what I got. And he's giving you that. Like, he's preaching, he's telling you, go get it. You know, like, who does a record like that? You know, he done got out of his feelings. He grew up from fuck your feelings to, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and couple niggas to
bodies. I give you the street shit, I give you the trap shit, but now I'm gonna tell you, you know, go get it. How to get rich? Like, come on, bro.
Nah, it's big records on this whole album. Now I want to ask you, now when did you come into his life far as management? Because it seemed like when Chinx wasn't with you, it was kind of surrounded, it was kind of everywhere with it.
Right. And that was the basic reason why I came in. You know, every person that starts in this business, the most important thing is for you to have a team. You know, I tell you that first and foremost. So, you know, me being from Far Rock too, I watched Chinx for a while. When he first came home, Biscuit brought him to my crib. I was one of the first places he came because he heard stuff.
Shout out to Biscuit, because he brung him as soon as he came home to me, and he was pushing Chinx all the time.
Like, yo, this dude is in the hood. He's doing it. He got a $500,000 studio. He's about his business. He ain't with none of the fuck shit. Fuck with him. You know what I mean? And I had already heard Chinx's sound, obviously, from the stacks, but we never had the discussion about doing anything towards management. So when he came home, I'm like, bro, you got to get hot. You know what I'm saying? And you know what that means. You know what I'm saying? You from these streets and you understand what it takes to get hot. So in that process, he started fucking with French. You know what I mean? And I saw him again. I'm like, oh, okay, I see what you're doing. When he started with the I'm a Coke Boy record. This was before they had the remix with Diddy and Ross on it.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, I'm paying attention. I see what's going on. And after he came with that remix, he was like, yo, I'm gonna need a manager in a minute. And as quiet as it's kept, he pulled me to the side and he was like, yo, I'm thinking about fucking with you or Self. And I looked at that nigga like he was crazy. I said, you actually gonna sit here and tell me that you trying to choose between two? I said, bro, I love Self. You know what I'm saying? It's cool. I said, but let me tell you
Self
something.
Which Self are we talking about?
DJ Self.
Okay.
And I said, yo, at the end of the day, Self is a DJ. You know what I'm saying? That's what he does. Like,
okay,
he's not going to be able to manage your career. I said, but if you go that way, I'm going to respect it. And he went and he sat down and talked with Self. And Self gave him that same look. Nigga, you crazy? I can't manage no artist, this, that, and the third. So he came back and he was like, you know what? I had a discussion with Self and he said the exact same thing. You know what I'm saying? Rock out with me. So from that point, we started kicking it. But I never like to jump into anything with an artist and just say, yo, I want to understand what the problems are.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And make sure that we properly address them and make sure that we're moving forward. So I got an opportunity to understand, because we were already doing work with French and everybody else. We had a studio on 25th Street. And he would come through. So he saw us interacting, and the relationship was such that we knew all the same people.
Okay.
So when he started working on the EP, he was working with another friend of mine, Rick Steele, who was working out of my studio.
Shout out to Rick, man.
So it's like this 6 degrees of separation. We just all intertwined.
Started meshing and everything.
Yeah, into the same thing.
That's when you start to see that the degrees are really 2.
Right.
Not 6.
Right. And when we sat down and we did that project, that's like when we really locked in, because it got serious. People were paying attention. We were doing the behind the scenes, the marketing and promotion. That started with some private investors. You know what I mean? And the funny thing with that was they were the money guys, but you got to understand, in this business, the money guys have a place. You know what I'm saying? And that's not creatively. So that's why that situation didn't work out, because the money guys can't be in control of creative. And Chinx was the type of person that he wasn't ever going to allow that shit. So that didn't fly.
You may not be seeing this, but Janelli is very much shaking her head like, nope, wasn't going to go.
Person that tell you, I do what I want to do. Let me make my own mistakes.
Yeah, let me fuck my own shit up. That's it.
I'm nobody's crash dummy.
That's it.
Yeah, we say that shit all the time. So we locked in on the EP, on the strength of the EP.
Now it was a lot of talk. Now I've seen when Chinx was coming up with a couple niggas, and I'm a Coke Boy was just definitely a big hit.
Mm-hmm.
And I had arguments in the radio station about a couple of rappers that was coming up. I'm like, Chinx is this dude, like, because I look at viral thing. I said Chinx got the followers, he got the Coke Boy wave, and he has records. That's one thing about Chinx that I always said to him, that you have records. He did the record with Jadakiss. That was a big record.
Right, the dope.
You know what I mean? Yeah. You know what I mean? That's when that whole flow.
Yeah. And then he did. Yeah, that was
Flexing
before
Hard
the
was-
Dope House. Yeah.
Yeah, see,
Yep.
I know my
You
Chinx
know the
thing, you know what I'm
history.
saying?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
like, with the Flexing Hard, that's where I think he came about with his flow. With the, you know what I mean? I'm flexing hard.
Right.
Now, I don't know. You know what I mean? I was looking through, I'm looking through the window. We had a deal on the table.
Right.
What happened to that deal with L.A. Reid?
Well, wait, before we get into that, I just want to do something real quick for the people. Can we get to that song real quick? Can we get can we establish that real quick?
Can I get some Flex and Heart?
Yeah, let's do that, man. Let's educate these motherfuckers out here, man.
All right, Rick, because you just cut me up.
I know, but I got you, son. I got you.
Let's go.
VIP
Saturdays. Let's get it. You know what it is, VIP Saturday, Superstar J.
And it's your homie, Gray Rizzy.
Yes, man, we still got the family in the building, man. Biggs, Janelli for Far Rock, America, baby. Rock.
Definitely.
Now, like I was saying, man, I just got into the Flexing Hard and a couple of records and I told Chinx one time we was in the strip club, I was like, man, you know you got it when you can have a set.
Right.
When you get that set, it's over. You know what I'm saying? When you can play 5 to 10 records back to back. Now, what happened with the label situation? Because a lot of people was like, "Oh man, Chinx should have took it." The French was asking for too much. It was like they, you know what I mean, Shot Money wasn't really on point, and that's when the times when everything was kind of critical with the Bobby Shmurda thing.
It was funny because it was right before Shmurda, and we had the Feelings record. Yes. At the time. So Feelings was at radio. You know, we were working out the numbers, trying to get everybody on board because it was a shaky situation in the sense that Chinx was at the tail end of his deal with French.
Okay.
You know, and he was dealing with, you know, some investors, which was this company called Nuisance.
Now explain to me the tail end of his deal. This was
his contract was almost up.
Okay.
So, you know, it's you got to basically get everybody at the table and to agree. Mm-hmm. So I think the reality and the calamity of him actually doing all of this work and realizing that it was so many people that he would have to answer to
get anything
done. It's a lot of moving parts.
Yeah,
was frustrating to somebody that had put out, you know, 5 other bodies of work, probably almost 7 at that point if you add the Hurry Up and Dies, and he had put out 7 tapes on his own, you know, and that was literally his own money, our own money, doing everything that we needed to do. So when you working that hard and you're supposed to have a label behind you and you see the politics, we all know what go on inside of these buildings. Yes. You know, like he was super frustrated, but I think we had gotten to the point that the numbers were solidified.
Yeah, the numbers was pretty good too.
Yeah, I mean, I'm good at what I do, bro. I'm gonna take a pat on the back for that one. But at the end of the day, what killed the deal was we asked them to go in on the Feelings record, and Sony's budget was tied up because of Future's project.
Okay.
You know, so we sitting there and we had just spent all of this money at radio, and we like, you don't even have to give us an advance. Just get behind the record. Support the record.
Yeah. And
they couldn't do it, you know, because the quarter was closed and all the shit that happens in the building. It takes a lot of time for those things to happen. So
and I just want to be clear, we're going from the third quarter to the fourth quarter, right, or out of the fourth quarter?
This was the third quarter into the fourth quarter.
And for everybody who doesn't know, when you go into the fourth quarter, ain't shit going on happening in the fourth quarter.
Right. So, you know, the name of the game is OPM. You want to spend other people's money. You know, and he felt like if he had to continue to spend his own money and do that shit, he's like, fuck it, I'm gonna keep doing me. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna stay independent. And that's what we did. We worked the shit out that record. We came with Cocaine Riot 4. We did a tour that took us all the way to Sweden off of that.
Yeah.
And then we did Cocaine Riot 5, and of course they started knocking again. And the thing that he stayed committed to after that, he was like, fuck it, man, I'm gonna do this myself. You know what I'm saying? And he signed to himself. He's still a Coke Boy affiliate, but for everybody that goes out and supports this album, just know that you're supporting Chinx and his family. You know what I'm saying? Because when we did the situation over at E1, we made sure it was right.
Okay.
And the number one goal is to make sure that the family is straight at this point.
I think one of the major things, like we've had a chance to see Chinx in a whole lot of different ways, man. But one of the major ways that I don't think people really appreciate was the fact that he was such a family man.
Right.
That he cared for Janelli, he cared for your kids. I want you to share a couple of stories. In fact, I want to know how y'all met. Let's talk about that. How did y'all meet?
We actually had a mutual friend.
It always starts like that. Yo, what's Shorty name?
Yeah, that's exactly how it went. Seen us, Far Rockaway, Mott Avenue,
on the benches and stuff.
Yeah.
Hey.
Walking through. And, you know, I guess he inquired about me and was like, you know, who's your friend? And she's like, Nelly? Like, all right, I'll tell her. Mm-hmm. But she came to school the next day, because we all in high school. I'm 15 years old. She come to school the next day. She like, oh, my friend seen you, want to talk to you. His name Lionel, whatever. I'm like, girl, please. paid it no mind. Like 2 months
Thinking
later,
about this chemistry test.
Yeah, 2 months later, I'm like, whatever happened to that person you was talking
Ah.
about? Yeah, now I'm a little bored. I'm like, who that person? She like, oh, Lana, oh, I'll tell him that you asked me. Long story short, she told him, we met up, and it was history from there. Like, first day I met him, we sat down and talked for like 6 hours in his living room where he used to live at with his aunt. I was just like, all right, I'm about to go home, talking your head off, because I could talk. And I'm like, I gotta go home. I ain't live too far from him. So he like, I'll walk you.
And wait, but before you go any further, walking in Far Rockaway, was this you were talking for 6 hours, so I'm assuming this is nighttime now.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
go proceed, because Big's over here looking at me like, yeah, man.
Yeah. So he walked me home. I probably lived like 10 blocks away. We walked to my house, and we talked for a little while longer, and then from there, we was just inseparable. I mean, every single day. Like, I wasn't the most behaved child, clearly, because at this time I had a daughter who was just turned 1 year old. So, I had it to where I was sneaking him in the house, leaving the keys in the mailbox so he can come in after the studio. Like, when I say we was together every day, like, he's sleeping at my house. If he ain't at my house, I'm at his house in the basement. Sleeping with him, that's his room was in the basement. So we ain't want his aunt to know. So it
exactly.
But he has his own little setup down there, so we ain't have to go upstairs doing everything.
That little mini refrigerator and shit.
It was just after that. Like, and we was just like, I was going with him to the studio. He was at that time he had the group that he had with his cousin GNC with Guttum, and we was recording uptown, going to Harlem every night. On a train, 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm riding with him, sleeping in the studio while he recording, get home, go to school while he get to stay home and sleep. Like,
so now I know why you have so much knowledge about these records. Like, those balls ain't right.
There.
So when did you meet Stack?
I actually known Stack before I met him.
Okay.
I knew Stack just from hanging out in the neighborhood, going to house parties. Stack was a part of everything, being in ref room. So I knew Stack for a while. Bino too. I went to school with Bino.
Shout out to Bino.
He was on the basketball squad, the biggest nigga in school. So everybody knew him. But so I knew him before I met Chinx.
Yes.
He linked back up with Stacks a year into our relationship.
Okay.
They got back together, but they always had a prior relationship before that from school. They went to school together. But they all, him, Core, Bino, they all got together a year into our relationship. He met Mike Dot, and
shout out to Mike Dot, the homie.
History was set from there. And I watched everything. I was in the studio with all of them too. I done seen.
It's a lot of sleepless nights right there.
Still sleepless nights.
Now when we had Chinx come up to the show, he was up to the show, and I've done the Stack thing and knew Stack. I'm proud to say I know Stack and Chinx. You know what I mean? And when I was playing, like, Chinx loved Stack. Yeah. And when I was playing the records, Chinx would say word for word, like, yo, Jay, you got that joint? Now, like, what was the effect of when he came home and the whole Stack thing? Because I know he always wanted to keep the light of what Stack was going on, his legacy.
When he found out about Stack, what happened to him, he was incarcerated. He got a phone call. He shut down. He did bad. Like, they was like, yo, like, he checked himself into the hospital. Like, he's not eating. He's losing weight. He's telling me, like, I'm done. Like, I don't want to rap no more. I'm not doing this shit no more. Like, he didn't feel like he had a purpose anymore. Like, it was just like everything.
They were that close.
Yeah, like, everything we planned is out the window. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, there's no way, like, respect the Stacks, but I see you doing this before you got with him. You understand? This was a passion of yours before you even got with the Riot Squad. Like, so you can't give up now, especially now, because Far Rockaway is waiting on you to come home and pick up the torch. Yeah. So you can't let everybody down, because then it's going to look like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah, because industry-wise, like, Stack, like, I always said, like, 50 had Yayo, and he just would lobby Yayo. And it felt like Stack would look at 50 in them and he lobby Chinx. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I was not familiar with Chinx. I was familiar with the whole Riot Squad, but when you heard that name Chinx Drugs, it was like it just stuck to you, to your mind. Like, when the fuck is Chinx Drugs coming out? And then when I met him, he's like, yo, I'm Chinx, yo, and he's very humble about it. It's just one thing about Chinx that I know, he was very humble,
super humble,
and he would keep it real. Like, yo, I don't really have that many friends in the game as far as rappers. He's like, yo, Wale is my man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He always say Wale was my man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then a couple of other people would then with the whole Stacks thing. So was it with Biggs? Was y'all putting together? Because you got a verse, man. Because there's so many verses that we know about Stacks and the whole. You know, we're not even gonna get into that. But how did you get that verse? Because that verse was like, man, it was.
We reached out to Clue, and I think some Ray C actually, shout out to Stacks Pops, because when he first came home, we were trying to put a Stacks project together, but the music was so all over the place that we couldn't get it there. So, you know, when Chinx started talking about his album, you know, we started talking about the components that needed to be. We were like, yo, we got to track down the Stacks verse, and you know, we reached out to everybody that we knew would potentially have some things. We didn't get anything back from Miller, I don't think, in time, but Clue sent something over. And then, oddly enough, that verse came from Miller. He gave it.
Shout out to Miller.
He gave it to Mike Dot.
Okay.
And Mike Dot came through, and Chinx heard the verse, and he was like, "It's dope, but it had an old track on it." So he was like, "Yo, we got to fix it up and bring it up to date. We can't do my man like that." So I'm like, "Don't worry about it. We got you. We'll put something around it." So we kind of sat it to the side because we felt like we were ready for Armageddon, you know, and that's the only record that we didn't get done before Chinx passed. You know what I mean? But he heard the verse.
But salute to you, because that verse is just it goes with the times right now. Yeah. And I just want to say one thing, man. Let's go out and get this album.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? The Ye record, I'm telling you from a DJ perspective, is one of the biggest records in the clubs, and it just relates to everybody. Yeah. And I don't know if y'all finished the video. In the video, you did your thing.
Yeah,
shout out to little Chinx, man. He's just like him. The smile, the swag, and I know you like, man. I'm gonna have to keep him on guard because the girls are gonna be on him
already.
He got the light brown hazel eyes.
That boy's gonna be a problem. On a serious note, before we get out of here, man, because it's very important. And again, like Superstar J said, everybody go out and support this album, because this, if you really are a fan of Chinx, man, this is supporting his family. That's the biggest key thing. Serious note, where are we at in the investigation?
It's coming along. You know, we definitely keep close ties with the detectives on the case. We're into upping the reward for anybody that got any information. The investigation is first and foremost. You know what I'm saying? That's more important to us than anything. Right. You know, we just try to stay busy in between times so that we're not stressed and depressed and reflecting on the horror story that we live in. You understand? Because at the end of the day, the reality is that this man did not deserve this.
Right. Didn't at all.
There's no reason good enough that you could give me to say that we supposed to be here. So at the end of the day, you know, like I said, you know, we're just coming along, and we're just praying that as these days go by, that people find the courage to come out and say something, because like I've stated before, somebody knows. You know what I'm saying? Everybody talk. Ain't nobody living on this earth with a secret that somebody don't know about.
Definitely.
Somebody knows something.
True that.
You understand? And
listeners, do you hear this? Like somebody, this is a good person, man.
I need to clarify this, because people, I've heard it so much. You coming forward with some information is not called snitching. Okay. Let's make it a understanding that snitching is when you do something with somebody, you commit a crime with somebody, and you give that person up to save your ass. That's snitching. You understand? You throw them under the bus so you could be good. But when you're doing the right thing out the kindness of your heart and knowing that somebody did something wrong, you understand? Somebody destroyed a family. You understand? He got a mother, a brother, a sister. He got kids. He got friends, family that
a wife
are all dying behind this. You understand? The victim don't stop with him. We all victims. Because this is something we gotta live with for the rest of our life. His kids are growing up without a father. You understand? So that to me should be enough for people to be like, this shit was wrong. You understand? Point blank, period. So at the end of the day, like I said, I just hope we get somewhere soon. Like, I don't want to wait 2-3 years for this case to be closed. And I stay on top of the detectives, make sure that they doing their job, because it ain't nothing you can't tell me that can't be done.
No, it can't be done because, and I've seen many interviews, and we're all from Queens, and Queens Boulevard. It's too many cameras for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I don't know if y'all been on their asses about that.
Of course.
But
I think they know a lot more than what they can tell us, obviously,
Okay.
because it's a fluid investigation too.
And they tell me that, like, not for nothing, but we ain't gonna come to you till we got somebody in cuffs. We're not gonna give you every detail that come across to us or every little thing that we find, because it just wouldn't make sense.
And sometimes that could lead to a false hope.
Yes,
hope,
right.
or you understand, you don't know if you're giving out too much information. You need to alert anybody.
Right.
And
Yes,
then
that's a fact.
they pick up and move. So of course they gonna keep valuable information to themselves until the time is right to move forward.
Okay.
And as long as I know that they're still doing their job, because this is bigger than Queens Boulevard. This man went from Brooklyn to Queens.
Definitely.
And then to Queens Boulevard. Like, so he was moving for about 5 hours that night.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make sure y'all backtrack it all the way to Brooklyn. Matter of fact, always say he left home.
Okay.
We gonna figure it out.
Yes, it's a fact.
Because this could have started from anywhere. And you don't got nobody sitting on Queens Boulevard with guns ready to shoot somebody. There ain't no random ass act. This was planned. So we gonna take it all the way back from point A, and then we gonna work our way to Z.
Yep. And that's what we gonna do.
Yeah.
Man, please, again, go out and get this album, man. This got to be one of the illest albums that we have coming out of New York City.
New York City, man.
Like Big said, it's Chinx's sound. This is a New York sound. Go out and support it. Go get it. In fact, buy 3.
Yeah.
Buy 3 and send them to your friends. You know what I'm saying? Do that right now, man. This is VIP Saturdays. I'm the homie Gray Rizzy. This is my man DJ Superstar J.
Janelli, and give them your Instagram, your Twitter. You know what I'm saying? Please,
yeah, please. Please.
All right, I don't got no
Because
Twitter.
wait, before you
take too much time.
before you say anything, Janelli, and me, myself, Gray Rizzy, DJ Superstar J, we commend you on your strength.
Strong woman.
Should be applauded.
Yes.
Definitely.
We get an applause, but I'm going to tell you right here, Janelli, please get a Twitter. All these social media sites, we can laugh about it, but we'll be some fat white person that's going to act like they're you. Just to get that support and love.
Right.
And I'm telling you, because if these motherfuckers will get to the key to you and get every picture you do on Instagram, they have it on Twitter.
You.
And then you be like, yo, where the fuck did this money come from? I ain't, you know what I mean? And then it's a big fiasco about that.
In fact, do it right now.
I'm telling you. My advice, and I'm getting a wrap up thing from Ron, but thank you, man. We here, man. And welcome to JFK. Biggs, what up, man?
Appreciate you, bro. Always supporting.
Let's get it.
VIP.